This is going to be a quick make. This is going to be a meal you can make in less than 20 minutes for yourself when you're in a hurry. You're able to use pre-cooked chicken and pre-cooked steak. Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be cooking quesadillas. It's a delicious dish. You can cook it fast or you can take time and do it very involved like we're going to do now. There are 3 basic ingredients that all quesadillas are made out of. Either steak, which I've already cut up into strips, chicken, which we'll cut up in just a second. I like to use thighs, they're always more tender, or ground beef. This is what everybody loves more than anything. Quesadillas are traditionally served on a tortilla, a toasted or cooked tortilla. You can use what we're making today in a hard shell if you like. And here's some of the toppings you can use. All quesadillas have cheese inside. If you can't eat cheese, do it without cheese. That's fine. Or whatever cheese you like. Sour cream is also good. Salsa, liquid cheese, and lemon juice or lime juice, whatever you have. Now we're going to be using Taco Bell seasoning mix because I absolutely love it. It makes it easier when you're cooking it up. Or you can make it your own way. You can use cumin, chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder, crushed red peppers. It doesn't matter. You can make it however you like. When you're using different proteins, they have to be stored separately, and there's a reason why. Chicken and other proteins like hamburger or steak cook at different temperatures. So you never want to put them on the same plate together. You can have cross-contamination that way. You can cook hamburgers medium rare. You cannot cook chicken medium rare. Also, once you're done cooking them, they have to be stored in the refrigerator in a particular order. Still separate, but cooked meats above raw. Cooked proteins above raw proteins. And the reason why is, if a piece of cooked drops into the raw, it will get cooked extra, because raw has to be cooked more. Pre-cooked doesn't have to be cooked as much. If you do it the other way around, and you drop raw into pre-cooked, when you heat up the pre-cooked, you're not going to cook the raw enough, and you're going to make somebody sick. We're going to be cooking the steak today in olive oil. I like the flavor of olive oil, but remember, olive oil has a low flash point, which means it smokes at a lower temperature than other oils. So we're going to be cooking today on a medium heat. All right, our pans are heated. We're going to put our hamburger in one pan, and a little bit of olive oil with our steak in another. Remember, I pre-cooked this. We're going to push it out a little bit, spread it out while it's cooking. We'll do chicken when this is all done. A little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. Whoa, I got it backwards. And we're going to cook it until it's 90% cooked. See you in a minute. Alright, our steak is about 90%, 80% cooked. We're going to season it one more time. We're going to add a little bit of pepper. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. A little bit of salt. Same thing with the hamburger. I like mine to be seasoned. Now we're going to finish cooking, and in a couple minutes we're going to be adding some delicious flavoring. Alright, if you look over here now, you can see everything's browned nicely. Our steak has a nice browning to it, looking delicious. We're going to turn both heats down to low. And we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of water to each. There's one. And there's another. Now, if your hamburger has a higher fat content, you'll want to drain the oil out. This one was very low fat. There was nothing to drain, so we just added the water. Now that we've got that in, we're going to add a pack of Taco Bell seasoning. Now, like I said, you can add cumin, chili pepper, you can add pepper flakes, garlic, whatever you like. Spice it how you want. This is the easiest way, and for flavor, I think the best. One whole package. And again, one whole package. Now that it's in and everything's settled down, turn your heat back up to medium. Stir it. You can already smell how good it is. The flavor, the aroma is all coming out. Now, if you like, I'm going to leave a recipe in the description below of how you can make your own seasoning based on a recipe I use sometimes. So you can use McCormick, you can use Taco Bell, you can use whatever you like, or you can make what I'm going to show you. All right, we'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, now we're going to do the chicken. Before I begin though, I want to tell you, I wash my hands because we're going from one protein to another. And with this chicken, we're doing it last because it's a little more tricky to deal with than red meat. When we're all done, we're going to be washing everything with a very light bleach water, which will sanitize it. So let's begin. Before we cut it into strips, we want to remove the fat. Now remember, a little bit of fat is good because it has flavor. But what we're doing here is finding the chunks that we don't want to leave in. And that's looking pretty good there. That's about the size you're going to want to cook. You can cut them down to half if you like. The size you want is all up to you. And there we have it. Now we're going to get ready to cook it in the frying pan with a little bit of olive oil, and let's get started. Now we've taken the beef and the steak. We've separated out. We have the steak in a separate container from the hamburger. That's sitting. Now we're going to go cook the chicken. Again, we're going to use olive oil, just a blurble. That's an exact measurement for you, those of you who don't know. We're on medium-high heat, and we're going to stick the chicken in. Listen to that. I love that sound. That's such a good sound. Now we're going to let this cook on medium to medium-high for 3 or 4 minutes. One of the hardest things to learn to do when you're cooking is to leave your food alone. Everybody wants to stir, flip, cut. Let it cook. Let it cook a good minute, stir it, flip it over, let it cook another good minute, maybe even a little bit longer. But learn how to let your food cook. Now we're going to let our chicken cook a little bit more. Just before it's done, I'm going to salt it and pepper it. As I said earlier, you don't need to do any of this. You can just let it cook plain if you like. It's all up to you. Chicken has to cook a little bit longer than you think because you want to make sure it's cooked all the way through. We're going to leave that on medium-high heat for about 3 more minutes. It's going to be a total about 7 or 8 minutes total on the chicken. There's my puppy. She supervises to make sure I'm cooking right. And if anything hits the floor, it's hers. It's an unspoken rule. Our chicken is ready. You can see it's starting to stick to the pan a little bit. It's browning up nicely. I'm going to turn the heat down to just below medium. Same as before. 3/4 of a cup of water. Look at that. Look at that boiling up and bubbling. We're going to let that settle down just a little bit. And once it's settled down, we're going to use the same Taco Bell seasoning. Now there's a spice in here. There's a mixture that thickens this. So when you're cooking it, as you slowly let it marinate and simmer, you'll notice it starts to thicken. That's when you know it's about ready to be taken off the stove. Now we've kept our beef warm, hamburger and steak. This will be hot coming right off the stove. See that thickening up like that? Oh, that's going to be good. There's a lot of flavor in that sauce. And we're coming into the home stretch, which means soon we get to eat. All right, folks, sit back. We're going to start eating. All right, our chicken is done, our hamburger is done, our steak is done. Now we're going to get ready to cook our tortillas. Before you make it hot, so you don't burn yourself, put a very small blurble of oil in your pan and spread it around to help get that tortilla nice and brown. There we go. Turn your flame to medium. There we go. And in about a minute here, we're going to start. With your hand over the pan, you can feel that the heat is ready to go. Put a tortilla in, tap it down. Another one in, tap it down. Start with your cheese. There's two ways you can do this. I like to do cheese on half. But you can also, if you like a lot of cheese, you can cheese the whole thing. It's all up to you. So let's just put a little bit extra. There we go. Now remember, you can cook green peppers, red peppers, onions, mushrooms, whatever you like. You can put whatever you like inside of it. But for a true quesadilla, this is pretty much all you're going to need. Now, here's our chicken. Looking delicious. Just cover the cheese. Looks good. Let's do our ground beef. Now our ground beef, even if you put the cheese on the entire tortilla, only put the protein on half. And you'll see why in a minute when we try to fold it closed. There we go. Now watch. We're going to only fold it once the cheese starts to melt. Now, like I said, if you do green pepper or onion, you can cook it separately. You can cook it right in with the protein. But whatever you're going to put inside, this is the time to do it. So we're watching. The cheese is about to melt. We can take a peek at it. It's not quite ready yet. So we're going to let that go for about 30-45 more seconds. Alright, now watch. You just fold it over. See how it's just brown? That's how I like it. It's a little bit crispy. You can cook it more, you can cook it less. As I always say, everything is up to you how you like it. The chicken, same thing. And yes, I use the same spatula, but all I'm doing is folding the tortillas over. So we're going to set that there. Now, here's the fun part. Take it out. Take it out. Set it down. And we're going to cut them. I'm going to turn off my grills. The best way to cut these is from the center out. Like that. Let's look at this. Wow. Look at that beautiful chicken with all that flavor inside there. Beef, that's chicken. Beef, same thing. Nice and hamburgery and cheesy. You're going to be able to top it with any of these toppings, whatever you like, and you'll be ready to go. You can get fancy. You can stack them however you like. It's for your family. You can impress them. You can just say, hey, come and eat. Take it as I cooked it. But there we go. Beautiful chicken and beef quesadillas. There's also steak we're going to make in a few minutes. Same process. And remember, if you want to use hard shell tacos, put them in the oven. Let them hang right over the center grill on 400 degrees for 4.5 minutes. All right, guys. Make sure you look in the description for a recipe for the seasoning. Sorry. And remember, please like and subscribe. I know everybody says that, but it's the only way to help me grow is by liking and subscribing. Tell all your friends, and if you don't have any friends, tell the people you know. This is Chef Ken Dad reminding you, baking is science, cooking is art.